CTV News with Kelly Gregg.
Good evening. It appears the province's plan to ban energy drinks for those under 16 years old could go ahead. The Quebec Conservative Party's only MNA could have blocked its fast-tracking through the National Assembly. But it appears Métis Blanchette Vézina has struck a deal with the CAQ. She wants hearings into the ban and in return has indicated she will allow it to go through. The bill would need unanimous consent to be passed into law before the end of session on June 12th. Quebec's Liberal Party has wrapped up a two-day meeting in Sherbrooke where they say that 8 years of CAQ governments has led to the province's decline.
And so that is why, my friends, we must stand up and fix Quebec.
Among the party's proposals for the upcoming election are rollbacks to Bill 96 so that more francophones could attend English cégeps. Leader Charles Myriel says the Liberals are the only true federalist party in Quebec and pointed to some members of the CAQ saying they would vote to stay in Canada while others are sovereigntists. He added the Liberal Party would be focused on improving the economy by reducing bureaucracy that stifles investment.
An industrial policy is a clear vision of what we want to produce as a nation. It means strengthening our value chains. It means processing more of our resources here at home. It means building a stable, competitive, and predictable business environment. Quebec must once again be a place that makes, builds, and exports things and goods to the world.
Quebec's health records will soon be fully digital, but there are already two areas trying that model out. The rollout has had technical issues and has some doctors worried vital patient information is being lost. Sweeta Rassi reports.
It is not only an exception, unfortunately.
Dr. Grégoire Bernache says it happens a lot. Healthcare workers order follow-up procedures like CT scans for patients. It goes into the digital system. Then, he says, it disappears.
Which is very concerning because these are often very important exams that the patient must do outside the hospital.
The platform, known as the DSN for Dossier Santé Numérique, replaces paper files, faxes, and forms, putting all of a patient's health information online. It rolled out last month in 2 regions across Quebec. The rest of the province will eventually follow. But since its launch, doctors say there have been technical issues. Health Minister Sonia Bélanger argues a new system like this will experience problems in its early stages.
On a bien implanté ça, c'est normal qu'il y ait des ajustements.
Dr. Bernache, who is also the president of the Quebec Association of Radiologists, understands that digitalization is the path forward, having been in Ontario when that province introduced a similar system. He says there were 6 months of growing pains there. But he says there are serious red flags with Quebec's program.
It's not a learning curve problem anymore. It's a software problem that needs to be addressed.
In a statement to CTV News, the CU's North Montreal writes in part, several support strategies have been implemented and are continuously being adjusted. A second health authority covering Mauricie region says, our priority is to quickly identify issues, implement necessary corrections, and support our physicians through these changes. For his part, Dr. Bernache says he hopes the current problems will serve as a wake-up call. Sweeta Rassi, CTV News.
The Montérégie West Health Board is making it easier to identify healthcare workers who can speak English. Doctors, nurses, receptionists, and others will be wearing yellow badges that reads Je parle English. It's part of Project Allo to make healthcare more accessible. More than 20% of people who live in the Montérégie speak English as their mother tongue or first official language. A new report from the city shows Montreal firefighters were called to 10,000 more emergencies in 2025 than the year before. And the very gear meant to protect them is coming with its own health risks. Laurence Bresson-Dubreuil reports.
For Montreal firefighters, the danger doesn't end when the flames are out. As calls continue to climb, so do concerns about the long-term toll of the job. Chris Ross leads the Firefighters Union.
It's killing us. You could take every other single fire department in Quebec, add the number of calls together, and you will get nowhere close to the number of incidents that Montreal firefighters go to.
A new report shows firefighters responded to more than 140,000 incidents last year. 6 in 10 calls now involve firefighters acting as first responders on medical emergencies. The report attributes the increase in part to an aging population, chronic illness, and a year of extreme weather events. It also highlights new measures to reduce exposure to toxic contaminants through improved cleaning of protective gear. Ross welcomes the progress, but he says the city moves too slowly.
It's been required since 2020. What changed for our firefighters only came January 27th, 2025, and it's because we complained to the CNSST that it was taking too long, and there was an intervention on the CNSST's part.
While the City of Montreal did not provide CTV News with a comment in time for this broadcast, Ross points to a heavy health toll. More than 350 work-related cancers have been recognized among Montreal firefighters over the past 15 years, and over 100 firefighters have died. Dr. Danny Wu says exposure risks follow firefighters throughout their careers.
We're faced with occupational carcinogens in all of those environments, whether routine or emergent at the firehouse or at the fire ground or at the fire lines.
Wu notes even new protective gear contains fire-retarding chemicals known to be carcinogenic. And he says modern building materials also add risks.
There is a lot of synthetic materials, and fires burn hotter, they burn faster, and they burn more toxic than ever before.
And exposure is only part of the problem. Quebec recognizes fewer occupational cancers than provinces such as BC, meaning the true toll may be even higher than official figures suggest.
We need to work on prevention, we need to work on screening, and we need to work on better recognition.
Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil, CTV News.
The Sûreté du Québec says it has arrested a driver for going 142 kilometers per hour in a 70 zone. It happened on Highway 20 near Agrignon. The car was also passing at high speeds, driving with no headlights, and in a vehicle with only 5 spots had 8 people inside. The car was seized, and the driver is facing more than $1,400 in fines and 14 demerit points. Well, you want to make sure that you put your late night snack down before this next story. A new survey by Concordia University shows more than 40% of those polled are open to eating insects. A psychology student interviewed 250 adults over 4 months at Montreal's Insectarium. 18% said they had already eaten bugs, 26% said they're willing to try, and 27% said they would incorporate insects into their daily diet. The study was in Scientific Reports, which is published by Nature. After 3 Olympic gold medals and a Walter Cup, Marie-Philippe Poulin has received another honor.
I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Civil Laws honoris causa in our university, and congratulations.
She received an honorary degree from Bishop's University. The captain of the Victoire was lauded for her long career in hockey, and in her speech she spoke to graduates about celebrating successes while embracing the hard work it takes to achieve them.
When people look at athletes, they often see the big moments, the gold medals, the championships, the overtime goals, the celebrations. But those moments are only a very small part of the story. What people do not always see are the early mornings, the difficult practices, the injuries, the losses, the setbacks, and the moments where the confidence disappears for a little while. And honestly, those moments matter just as much. One of the greatest lessons hockey has taught me is that failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of the success.
And you can find a full-length interview with Poulin on our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca. And the Montreal Victoire have lost a key piece to expansion. Rookie defender Nicole Gosling has signed a 3-year deal to go to Hamilton. The 24-year-old was a top-pairing blue liner with 3 goals and 16 assists this season. She's also a finalist for Rookie of the Year. Well, you might pass right by it, but a little-known Griffin Town art museum is home to some works by the masters. Lauren Fernandez got a look inside.
These are all European and American paintings that I've been collecting art for over 40 years.
Alan Diamond lives and breathes art.
I was 10 years old, I did this painting.
A painter himself, his passion is clear when he shows us around the Montreal Art Centre and Museum that he founded in 2010.
We became a not-for-profit organization in 2017, and then in 2020-21 we became a museum.
At a glance, you wouldn't know what's inside this Griffin Town historic patrimonial building dating back to 1875.
We've been, called the best-kept secret.
Everywhere you look, there are pieces from around the world, including works from some of the greats.
Pablo Picasso here, Pierre-Auguste Renoir, Paul, Cézanne.
But their main mission?
We want to help artists, visual, performing, and film artists, because it's not an easy life.
One of those artists is Olivier Bonnet.
People see my work and think and feel that it has a vintage feel to it.
Close to 50 artists use the nonprofit studio space. They also get a chance to show their work in the gallery.
It's inspired from a 1920s photo, and I engraved it on linoleum. It's quite a laborious process.
Which helped Olivier land another opportunity.
An art critic came at the the day after the vernissage, and found my work really interesting. So he's offered me to do a solo exhibition at the Centrafrica during the Jazz Festival.
He says in a world with so much content available online, nothing can replace experiencing art in person.
People are bombarded with advertising, images on social media, lots of video clips, etc. So this provides them a quieter, more poetic moment of reflection.
And he's grateful to Alan for supporting emerging talent.
I consider him to be a modern patron of the arts.
The most important thing for our artists is the visibility.
Showing the next generation that reaching their potential isn't abstract. Lauren Fernandez, CTV News.
Weather brought to you by Gratian Scaff's 50th anniversary gift event. Get a complete second pair and sunglasses as a gift.
Now for a look at your forecast. The Environment Canada thunderstorm watch has passed. We're currently at 19 degrees in Montreal and Mirabel, 18 in the townships. Waking up tomorrow to possibly more rain. We'll see some clearing through the day, though, the high 22 degrees. Starting off the week with sunny skies. Monday and Tuesday looking like the winners there. Then it's rain, rain, and yes, more rain. But temperatures do climb as well. After the break, sitting down with a veteran who was at D-Day 82 years after the landing. Today marks the 82nd anniversary of the D-Day invasion, when Allied forces stormed Normandy to liberate France and Europe from Nazi Germany. Officials from Canada, France, the UK, and other countries gathered to remember the sacrifices of that day and ensure they are not forgotten.
The world is growing more serious and more dangerous. The responsibility to safeguard their D-Day legacy rests with us. That legacy is the power of unity, the commitment of allies, the faith in democracy and freedom.
More than 150,000 Allied soldiers landed on the beaches of France that day, and over 4,000 died. Another 10,000 were wounded. And a new memorial is being built in honor of those who died on D-Day. Amanda Anderson spoke with one of the few living veterans of the assault.
We fought to the death.
Marty Jones was just 19 years old when he was faced with the reality of war.
It was a rude awakening, yeah, for a young guy.
He was an anti-aircraft gunner aboard the HMCS Prince Henry as it brought landing craft filled with Canadian troops to Juno Beach on D-Day.
Saving your brothers, but you're also dumping them to their death. And that kind of stuff hurt. Never had a chance to say goodbye. Just wave to them, or because you're too busy saving your own neck.
It's been 82 years since that day. It helped change the course of the Second World War, memories that are still vivid for the now 101-year-old veteran.
We never recover from the things that are in the back of our heads that we had to face.
381 Canadians died on the beaches of Normandy June 6th. The head of the Juno Beach Centre in Normandy, France, says many people don't realize Canadians were involved.
The Canadians were known to go further and closest to their objectives for D-Day that they were meant to meet, and that was something we can be proud of.
The names of those killed on this shoreline will be honoured on a new memorial being built at the Juno Beach Centre.
It's going to change probably the emotion that you have when you're there. There's so much there already. If you've been there, you kind of come away going, you can't replicate or describe what you feel. But I think the monument will add to that.
Enbridge, an Alberta-based company, donated $150,000 for the memorial.
We have offshore wind in Normandy, so we saw this as a meaningful way to honor the Canadians who gave their lives on D-Day in 1944 and to help preserve that legacy for future generations.
It's part of a major expansion at the centre, which still needs to raise more than $6 million. A fundraising campaign Lavoisier hopes will increase programs offered here in Canada.
A lot of our focus is to ensure that we get into the communities and the schools. So, we don't want to be known for 1 or 2 days a year, June 6th and November 11th.
I want the beach to be a haven of love. I want it for the kids to run with mom and dad and their dog in the surf. That's what I want. Yeah, if I can't get that, it wasn't worth it.
The memorial should be done in 2028, a year before the 85th anniversary of D-Day. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Time now for In Case You Missed It. Artificial intelligence can be helpful with everyday tasks, including translations. But it's not perfect. And as Stéphane Giroux explains, the STM found that out the hard way.
Bishop Street in Montreal is believed to be named after 19th century Anglican bishop Francis Fulford, except in Montreal's 747 bus line has been rechristened Bishop, as in a honey store, and it created a negative buzz at the STM.
So yes, we're using AI probably in many places. Probably sometimes we need to have some supervisor in there. In that case, it didn't happen.
The STM says it will rectify the sign, but it couldn't explain why its map wasn't proofread in the first place. Examples of questionable translations abound in the city. Take the street Prince of Wales in NDG. A local contractor made a huge blunder by calling it Prince of Wales.
We don't see any whales or any sea around here. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even think it's somebody's humor. It's somebody's illiteracy.
Now, the sign might be funny, but for a lot of people, it's also a sign that we're relying way too much on artificial intelligence.
This story is a perfect example of why AI cannot be trusted to fully take over from humans anytime soon. It makes mistakes, it hallucinates, it lies, it confabulates.
An embarrassment, too, for professional translators who are being replaced by AI.
We do check, we do verify the translation. So it's even more than proofreading, because you have to check the terminology, the technical terminology. Is that the right words, the right syntax, the right grammar, everything?
Proof, she says, that humans still have the edge when it comes to common sense. Stéphane Giroux, CTV News.
Coming up, model train enthusiasts in Montreal find themselves on the right track. It's a big passion on a small scale. Model train enthusiasts gathered at the Dorval Arena today for the Montreal Model Train Expo. This year, some of the newest technical innovations are the tiniest, meaning people can build more elaborate sets in smaller spaces. Some of the model trains have onboard computers, while other builders prefer to keep it simple.
When you're actually working on a model railway, you sort of zone out and you get away from the real world, and you sort of more, time doesn't really count all of a sudden. So it's like a form of yoga, meditation, when you're really working on a model railway itself. And you also get to be very artistic, because you get to build things It's like a God thing. You get to build your own world. That's basically what it comes down to.
The show continues on Sunday with proceeds benefiting the Sun Youth organization. Well, that wraps it up for us tonight. For the latest news, you can listen to the Weekends with Johan Vrak's show tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on CJD 800. And of course, you can always head to ctvnewsmontreal.ca for more. Take care.